Well, I'm Ralph Tuijn from the Netherlands. I'm the expedition leader of this crew. We are a crew now that rows across the Atlantic. We have 2 Irish rowers on board, Collins and Kevin Ofarrel, and 2 Dutch rowers, Ralph Tuijn and Zeeman Ocean Hoek. We're rowing now across the Atlantic, mainland to mainland, because that's a real Atlantic crossing, from Portugal to South America, trying to aim for some world records. We had some difficulties on the way with some weather. The weather was not always in our favor, but also we had some problems we had to solve, and that's also why we came in up here to have just a short break. Tomorrow morning we will be leaving again, and to get some more world records. Try to get the fastest time from Africa to South America. It's like yearly I'm doing the same like this. This year I have a 4-team crew, and like the last couple of years always have 5 or 6 years crews, and about every year so far we break world records, so we definitely try to do that again with this crew. Well, to explain you a bit, like I'm rowing oceans more than 15 years, and in the early days I started on with old-fashioned boats. They were not so modern as nowadays, but the sport became bigger, and nowadays you have a company that builds professional boats like this. They all look a bit more the same. They are faster, more stable, more safe. So I have a couple of that boats where I'm doing with. It's a boat 8 meters 65 long, composed of, it's mainly built of polyester, but with some places that it's enforced with carbon fiber and foam coatings to make it lighter and stronger. This is the main model that you have nowadays in ocean rowing. Most of them are built like this, and I used it already for the first group crossing after my solo or double crossing before, since 2015. And this is one of the most amazing R45 ocean rowing boats in the world, because this is already the 8th ocean rowing crossing of this boat. And there's not a single boat in the world that has done so much ocean rowing crossing and still keeps us very safe and well. Like when we're rowing in the ocean, like at first when people come new on board, like, oh, it's bumpy in the waves, how it feels, but after a few days everybody felt so confident.
There's a forward cabin and an aft cabin. Both of these are small and cramped. So with 4 rowers, it can be pretty tight. On the way down from Portugal to the Canary Islands, we had some wind coming against us. So once the wind gets over 12 or 15 knots against us, we can't make forward progress. As rowers, you just don't have enough in you to make progress against the wind. So the wind comes, we deploy a sea anchor, and that keeps us locked into the waves. With a sea anchor out, obviously we can't make progress, so we got to spend some time together in the cabins, and it's certainly in the aft cabin. So I share the aft cabin with Ralph, the skipper here, and the aft cabin, and the boat is curved, so 2 people lying together like this. And Ralph made the comment that you have too many arms, like you have nowhere to put your arms. You can't lie down flat. Only one person can lie down flat. It's pretty uncomfortable. And I think for the forward cabin also the same. It's intimate.
Yeah, but the aft cabin is often like we're lying there and then we're sleeping, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is better. You know, it's really like
we're more gentle with one another in the aft cabin. We kind of get in close and snuggle. You know, it's nice. We have some candles and some incense sticks. It helps with the tightness
and intimacy.
And the intimacy.
Yeah. It's a famous old saying, eh? Like when people go onto the sea, like it takes about weeks, and people want to be longing back to be on land. But for a seafarer, it's only taking 1 day back on land and wanted to go back to the sea again. Yeah. Because it's a special environment where you are.
Ralph's expedition. So Ralph put together this team. So we met before in Holland, and we rowed in Amsterdam, and we rowed some of the canals and some of the rivers. Myself and Rob were friends from Dublin in Ireland, so we had planned to do this for some time, and luckily we found Ralph on the internet, and Simon had also found Ralph, so we brought the team together. So Rob and I would have prepared before work every morning, going to the gym, 5:30, 5:30 a.m, doing weights, rowing, on the weekends doing rowing, trying to bulk up, put on some weight because we knew we were going to lose some weight out there. So we did a lot of physical training together, some mental preparation, visualization, talked to a lot of people who've done it previously. There's a lot of Irish and a lot of Dutch ocean rowers who've previously done similar routes.
I think we spoke to every Irish person who rowed an ocean. We actively sought out anyone that we thought had done this before to get some insight into the experience. Because I have a lot of sailing experience, but this is my first ocean on a rowing boat, and this is very different. It's not.
And I think the advice from Irish people generally is, it's shit. You're going to hate it, but you'll love it after it's done.
We're leaving tomorrow morning again, probably like at 8 it opens up here at 9, and then we take first a good cup of coffee, and then we're leaving again. Aiming for Cayenne, French Guyana. That will take us about 26 days and 9 hours. Because we set the world record, I set the world record with my team in 2018, so 26 days and 10 hours, so we want to break that world record. But we're aiming for French Guyana, and that's always the end spot, so that's what we're going to aim for, yeah.
The thing about this expedition that I hadn't had on the sailboat is the type of food you have. So for us it's all freeze-dried food. And Ralph has been really good about providing a large variety. So we use Expedition Foods, which is a UK company, one from Norway called Real Foods, Summit to Eat. There's a whole bunch of different varieties. But I guess you have this dehydrated food that we rehydrate regularly. But we also have a lot of chocolate bars, a lot of protein bars, energy gels.
Sardines,
tins of sardines,
sausages, wraps,
sweets,
lollipops.
Yeah, even that. Yeah.
I think for all of us that well, maybe not for Ralph, but for Kevin and I and Simon, we've lost a lot of weight. I think I have definitely lost 8 kilos. Kevin probably more. Simon probably more.
But it's not because of the diversity of the food.
No, and it's not because the food is lacking. It's hard to find the routine to rehydrate your food and then to eat at the appropriate time. Like, eating is not always fun because 24 hours a day, you row for 2 hours, rest for 2 hours, row for 2 hours, rest for 2 hours. At some stage you have to eat, and you can't eat just before you row. So it's timing that and getting into the rhythm of eating is a tricky thing in its own right.
There's a machine, water maker in the middle of the boat. It's going to take in the seawater, salt water, and push it through a filter.
Membrane,
and what's keeping left is sweet water, fresh water.
Sweet water.
Sweet water.
It's a bit of a thing, like it's called reverse osmosis.
And we do that every 2 days.
3 days?
2-3 days.
Yeah. We work through Iridium Go, and we have also Garmin InReach in both systems. Yeah. Mainly the Garmin InReach is for our tracking, to give us follow-up tracking position for every hour. And the Iridium Go we use non-stoply when we want to send pictures, text messages, emails, and it's also a backup for tracking that we have on board. Yeah, and the weather updates come in every day through our Iridium Go. On the ocean, when we make a crossing now with Team Neil Marsh, you can find us on my internet site, ocenrower.eu, and when you point to follow next expedition, you see our live tracking every hour where we are in the ocean towards French Guyana, Cayenne, and wish for us that we break at least some world records again with this crew.